Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's extremely aquatic episode, we are going to be replacing the radiator on the Opel Corsa 1.4i Utility. And in this episode, everything went pretty smooth. So the only issue we had during the day was that as we were putting our plugs back on, I found that the cold starts plug actually had the wire loose on it. So I found the wire to be loose and it had broken off right at the actual plug. So I had to improvise, and yeah, I did improvise. So guys, please enjoy the video. The video's probably started already, and I think the first step that we had to do was to drain the water. Guys, the coolant is busy running out at the bottom. If we have a look at our expansion tank, it's empty as well. So now what we're going to do is we're going to remove a couple of hoses from the actual radiator, and then this hose as well, this air hose, we're just going to take it off from the air box. Very simple hose to remove. Comes out very quickly, small little hose, but it's important that we take him out so we've got some space to actually work on. We'll start with loosening this first hose over here. Just going to turn the clamp loose. So you might have a different clamp on yours, depending, but this is the clamps. It's on my radiator hose here, so I'm just going to loosen him up, and it's best to loosen the clamp up quite well. So what you'll find is with these older vehicles, the clamps get really stuck, and these pipes actually get stuck onto the actual fittings. But in this case, it seems like it's going to come off quite easy. Here we go, and off comes our pipe. So one pipe is loose, one less thing to worry about over there. Need to loosen the wiring harness, and I'm just going to cut off this cable tie that is in the way. Simple as that. That's going to loosen the wire. And okay, next up is the wiring harness, the plug from the wiring harness. It goes to your fan, comes out very quickly. Just pull your connector back and pull up, and you'll come out. Very easy plug to take out. Guys, always inspect these plugs and check them for water damage. Make sure that the plug's not been damaged in any way, especially the wiring in the back. Just have a look at that. We're just going to move this out of the way now. Our next pipe we're going to remove is this one over here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take off all the wiring clips, just try and get them out of the way. And then on this side I'm going to take the coil plug out as well, just to give myself some space here. We've also got the cold start at the bottom, which I'm going to pull that plug out as well. And then our O2 sensor, we're going to plug this one out as well. Now we've got some room to get to that screw on that clamp over there. So let's loosen up this screw at the bottom. Yeah, that's much easier, much better. Don't undo your clamps all the way, just do them, I'd say about 85% of the way. Once it's loose, pull the clamp back, and now we're going to be able to pull this pipe off the flexible pipe at the back. Just watch your hands, guys, when you do this, because you can knock your hands up against the engine parts. Okay, so our hose is loose, and that's all our hoses loose. And now we're going to work on this bolt that holds the radiator in place here at the bottom. I think we'll also loosen up this hose just to make sure that we've got everything out of the way so the radiator can come out very easy. I've got this spring clamp pliers, very useful item, very useful tool in the garage. Sometimes you need to reach those hard to reach places, and it actually helps you to do that very easily. There you go. Just give it. When you're loosening these hoses, just turn the hose and it should pull off quite easily. Right. I'm just going to put this cap back on to keep it with our bottle. And then the next one we're going to loosen is the Torx bolt that holds the radiator bracket in place. Let's get that guy loose. I'm just going to do it by hand first before we use our ratchet on here. You don't want to use the ratchet only if it's there we go. There we go. There we go. Right. Okay, now we should be able to maneuver our radiator so that it can come out. Okay, here we go. Okay, so yeah, my bonnet release cable was over this place here. So just be careful when you're taking it out. Just make sure that the cable comes out and make sure all your connections are loose. The pipes are loose. Okay. There we go. There we go. Just carefully. Alright, now we're going to go over to the assembly table and we're going to assemble the new radiator onto the fan. Now that we've got our radiators to the table, we can assemble the new radiator. So some of the parts from the old radiator has to go over onto the new one. Things like the hoses. I think there's 2 hoses here. And then we've got like little rubber grommets, this type of rubber grommet here. I'm just going to stick him on his position right there. We're going to put that over now. We're going to loosen up our fan as well. Guys, now's the time to actually check your fan. Have a look at the fan and make sure that your wiring on your fan is in good condition. Make sure that there's no burn marks on the fan. There will be like grease and a bit of dirt, and if it's very dirty, then you rather just take a brush and clean it off. I'm happy with my fan the way that it is. I think we can proceed from here. So we will start with taking off the smallest hose on this side. And we're just going to use our spring clamp plier and just loosen the clamp itself. Once that's off, we're going to have to twist this guy now because they don't come loose very easy. Here we go, just twist him. You can use a screwdriver, but if I can twist him, I prefer to do that. And also notice the position that it's in, because once it goes on, you're going to have to twist it again. If you forgot, it's not a big story, it's not a big deal. What we're going to do is just put it straight on here, onto the other side, and we're just going to leave it there, just like that. Okay, next up will be our thicker hose. And you can see it's basically at a 90 degree and it's going to go in the same way as we took it off now. So this one's got a clamp on, mine's got a clamp on here. I'm just going to loosen the clamp, same as before. And guys, if your clamps are worn, rather change them out. This one seems to be acceptable. And also try to use a socket, not a flat screwdriver, to loosen your clamp. It will just save you time. There we go. He's loose. So now we can get him off. Yeah, he came off quite easily. I'm just going to put him back over. I'm going to tighten him up on here. And we'll just tighten it up here. So guys, it looks like the clamp at the bottom is not doing too well, so I'm rather going to take it off and we're going to replace it with a new clamp. So guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually tighten it in the bottom position, because I'm just thinking that if you ever need to replace this hose, you could actually loosen it from the bottom. It might be easier to be underneath. If I'm looking at the chassis there, I think it will be better if we put it at the bottom. What's left now is to loosen the actual fan from the old radiator. I've already loosened this one. I would have loved to have gotten some brand new Torx bolts, but I think that at this stage I'm just going to loosen this one up and reuse it again. It seems to be okay. It's a bit rusted, but it seems to be okay. Last but not least, we're going to loosen up the Torx bolt here. It should be yeah, it should be able to come loose by hand. There we go. So he's loose as well. Now we've got all our bolts out. So guys, what happens now is you can actually slide. If you look here, you'll see there's a clip there and a clip, same clip on the other side. And what you can do is just slide them out. Got a clip at the So we've got a clip at the bottom, and unfortunately this clip is broken, but I'm going to have to improvise and I'm going to have to see what I can do about that. But let's get the fan out, slide him out. There we go. That's your fan, out he comes. And now we're just going to put him over onto the new radiator, same procedure. When you are doing this, just remember, try not to damage the fins here. Okay. So what happens is in the front of the radiator, guys, there's this clip here. So he's got to go over and he's got to hold him. So you've really got to try and maneuver it so that it actually goes in both sides. And yeah, it's a little bit easier said than done, but definitely can be done. So just push it in at the same time. There we go, that's it. So at the same time as you're pushing here, you've got to make sure that that's going over the top here as well. That this clip is going over the top, and that's going in there, and that one's going in there, and then yeah, there, Bob's your uncle. Or in some cases, Frank. Just a bit of maneuvering, guys, and it's in. We went. Right. Here we go. One's in. There we go, done. So we're ready to install our radiator now. Just make sure that your grommets are on both sides. There's one this side and one on the other side. Just make sure they both are on. It's your final check. Make sure that everything is in its place where it needs to be. And now we're going to slide him in carefully. Takes a little bit of maneuvering, but it's not very difficult. And guys, if you look at the bottom there, I just want to show you at the bottom. If you look at the bottom, if you look on this side, you'll notice that there's you'll notice that there's a rubber on this side here, and this rubber is on both sides of the mounting, and these two pins are going to go into those two rubbers right now. But make sure that you've got the rubbers there. If not, then rather try and find a replacement for them. I'm just going to guide the radiator in carefully. Let's always try and keep the wiring out the way. And make sure that I'm going to go onto those rubber grommets at the bottom. Okay, one's in. Other one is in. And now we've got to get this clip underneath, guys. Don't forget about this clip. He's got to go under. There we go. He just pops down and is in and is under. What we're going to do next is we're going to put on our mountings. Our bolt is back here, so we don't have to worry about that. We're going to put our mountings on. And remember, they fit over and in like that. This one's like an L, so he goes over there. We just do it like this. Just do it like that. Put it over there and on there. Yeah, there we go. And your screw goes on. See, tight. Now we'll do the one on the other side. That's what you'll notice about this one is this mounting here. He's got like a little pin. And he goes into that little slot there. The slot here. That's how he goes in. So just something to note. That little tip will go into this pin here. So once you put it on, make sure that he goes in. Otherwise it's going to be difficult to get the screw in. There you go. The screw goes in. Unfortunately, this one sits in a very difficult position, and takes a bit of time and a bit of patience just to get him in and to make sure that he's doing what he needs to be doing. Okay, it's almost tight. And what we're going to do next now is to start from the bottom. We're going to put in our plug. Remember that the plug, before we put the hose in, the plug runs on the inside. Plug is at the bottom. We'll just pop him in. There we go. That's it. So we've got one more pipe that needs to be connected, or at least two more pipes, one small one and one big one. So what we require is for every 1 liter of coolant, we're going to mix it to equal parts in this case, because it will give us very good protection for the summer months that's coming. Go. Now we're just going to add another liter of water. That's that. Expansion tank, we're just going to do it very slowly. Something that I'm going to do now is I'm going to open the heater as well, the heater core, because this coolant needs to run through the heater core as well. So I'm going to open that up now. For the thermostat to open, it's this guy over here. The thermostat, once he opens up, then obviously coolant will come to the top. But so far there's been quite a bit of bubbling, and it seems to have settled at this point. I'm just going to put the cap on right now, and then we'll leave it until the fan comes on. Guys, the fan just came on, so glad about that. Okay guys, all done. Took us maybe about two hours or so, 3 hours to sort that out, but it's all done. New radiators in, looking all good and shiny. The old one is I think seen better days. Actually, now that I look at it, I'm actually looking at it and I'm looking at how it looks. And just on the examination of the old radiator, I see there's a bit of rust forming, and that's normally the first signs that things are about to go here at the bottom. It can be considered normal, but you know, let's not take a chance. So I'm actually quite glad that I've done this today, guys. And we've checked for leaks. There's absolutely no leaks on the pipes. The fans come on. I've been idling for about 10 minutes, actually about 15 minutes now, and everything's gone well, so I'm very pleased about that. We're just watching the coolant. Obviously that will still go down. I'm not going to open it now to top it up, but maybe later on when it's cooler and after the engine is cooled down, then I will top that up. So all in all, I think it's been a very good day. It's been good for the radiator, and I'm hoping that I'm going to see improvement on my heat and on my heat gauge. So I will follow up with a short video again after this and let you guys know.